Hey, welcome to part 4 of the Guitar Discovery series on writing your own original songs. Quick review. We're going to assume you have basic guitar playing skills, the ability to strum and play a few chords smoothly and evenly, and sing along while you play. Beyond that, there are really only 2 traits you need to cultivate to write original songs. Number 1 is belief that you can do it, and number 2, persistence to finish a song. Okay, those sound simple enough, but how do you tap into belief in yourself and develop the persistence to mold all your ideas and fragments into complete songs? Well, stick around, let's help each other get inspired and stay focused to finish up our original songs. So I've been a songwriter for almost 50 years, and by now I've written a few hundred songs. Of course, widely varying quality and relevance. But for me, songwriting is this never-ending source of joy, and it has a spiritual overtone too, knowing I have the power to create a song out of thin air. And I want to share just a couple of the secrets of how I get and stay inspired to write and complete new songs. For me, the best sources of inspiration and determination are actually these just hearing great songs and the songwriters who write them. And there's a pair of awesome books that I want to turn you on to. They always help me get past writer's block and avoid songwriting dry spells. Here's one of them, Songwriters on Songwriting. And there's another volume, More Songwriters on Songwriting. So these books are interview compilations by a music journalist named Paul Zollo. They are big books, over 700 pages each, and they're full of interviews with more than 100 top songwriters just talking about the art and magic of songwriting. So you might think that reading about great songwriters might be intimidating, but it's actually the opposite. Because what you find out is that all these greats basically started with nothing. Most of them had no special training. They were just like us mere mortals. And you also get to see how random their writing process is, and ultimately how there are just no rules to songwriting. It is and always will be a mystery even to the great writers. So let me read you something from the preface. Songwriting is much more than mere craft. It's a conscious attempt to connect with the unconscious, a reaching beyond ordinary perceptions to grasp images that resonate like dreams and melodies that haunt and spur the heart. I love that, a conscious attempt to connect with the unconscious. I write my best songs when I consciously push my ego and internal critic out of the way. I try to imagine the words in music flowing through me, not coming from me. And that's kind of the spiritual side of it too. So with these books, I can open one randomly, read a chunk of almost any interview, and I'll be reminded that writing is always this personal, mystical process, and that the biggest challenge every writer seems to face is not judging themselves or worrying if other people will like what they're writing. So really, that's my best advice to you as a writer. Just write to please yourself, your ear, your musical tastes, and don't worry about writing something great. That is your ego talking. Just stay determined to write and finish something. When my inner critic pops up, it also helps me to remember that what I write doesn't have to be or sound particularly original. Because when you analyze most mega hits, you discover they almost always use super familiar chord progressions. Most hits are 3 or 4 chord patterns in different sequences with different melodies. When you're done watching this video, you should go watch The 4 Chords That Killed Pop Music by Rick Beato. I'll put a link in the comments. It's pretty shocking because that video makes it very clear that songwriting is not rocket science. All the big hit makers are using the same formulas and the same building blocks over and over and over, just with a lot of production and window dressing. Let me close with a few words from another favorite songwriter, Mark Knopfler of Dire Straits. Each song has its own secret that's different from another song, and each has its own life. Sometimes it has to be teased out, whereas other times it might come fast. There are no laws about songwriting. So for some of you, the first few things you write may be pretty brilliant, and for others, you may not love what you're writing at first and need to work at it. Either way, just write for the joy of it, to express your point of view in words and music. And just remember the only judge that matters is you. Okay, so I'm not going to pose a songwriting challenge today. Instead, I'm going to give you homework. I just want you to get one or both of the books I mentioned, Songwriters on Songwriting or More Songwriters on Songwriting, and just start reading about your songwriting heroes and discover how much you have in common with them. You'll find links to the books down in the description. That's it for today. Next time we're going to dive into lyrics and how to find interesting rhymes, make them flow better, convey what you want to say, and be more memorable. In the meantime, I'd appreciate it if you would go over to guitardiscoveries.com to see all my videos. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Thanks a bunch. See you next week.